So here's a question. How long do you think it would take to walk nearly 500 kilometers, about 310 miles, from Kyoto to Tokyo? Back in the Edo period, the Shogun's elite messengers did that whole distance in just 3 days. I know it sounds humanly impossible, but they actually did it. They kept this up, running day and night for over 265 years. Wait, how? That's what I thought too, but it was all due to something called the Tenma system. Basically, the Shogun set up a string of post towns all along the highway. At each stop, an exhausted runner would hand his package to a fresh guy who would immediately take off again. It was a relay system passing letters from one postal hub, called a toyaba, to the next. You can actually go see one of these postal hubs today at Narai-juku right here on the Nakasendo trail. This whole system was powered by laborers who were pushed to their absolute breaking point. And the stakes? If your message was late, you weren't just getting fired, it was almost a death sentence. To give you an idea what that life was actually like, I want to tell you a story. Meet Seijiro. He was a Tsugi-hikyaku, a high-speed government messenger based in the post town of narai-juku on the Nakasendo trail. Seijiro took immense pride in his work. He believed the letters he carried were the very threads holding Japan together. To be the fastest man on the trail, he lived like an athlete. He never smoked, he never drank, and he treated his body like a temple. At home, he was a loving husband and a father to a daughter he adored. But being a government messenger was not a wealthy job. In fact, the government often paid nothing at all. They saw it as a tax, a duty every citizen owed to the state. To feed his family, Seijiro took extra jobs, but he never complained about the government work. He was loyal to the shogun, and the status of being a special runner made him feel proud. Then there is Genzo. He is the polar opposite of Seijiro. Most days, you will find him drunk. Like Seijiro, he works as a delivery man, but he doesn't serve the government. He carries goods for the commoners or the lower-ranking officials. Men like Genzo were known as Kumosuke. The word literally means cloud spider. They were called clouds because they were drifters, men with no homes and no titles, always on the go. They were called spiders because they were notorious for catching naive travelers in their webs, pressuring them into paying for services. Genzo earns only a few coins for a day's back-breaking work, only to gamble it all away by nightfall. But there's something Genzo hates more than his miserable life: the shogun. He never says it out loud, of course. A single sign of disrespect in front of a passing samurai could cost him his head. So he keeps his rage locked inside, killing the shogun 1,000 times over in his heart. This hatred wasn't born from nothing. It was born from hunger. 2 years of bad harvests, the government taxes did not stop. They took everything from him: his land, his home, his life. His wife eventually died of malnutrition. To keep himself alive, he made the impossible choice to send his only daughter away into hoko, servitude. In reality, it was a sale. It was the only way to ensure she would at least have a meal. That decision haunts him every single day. He cannot bear to look at small children. The guilt is simply too much to carry. He drinks to numb the memories of the family he lost. Often, tears fall before he even realizes he is crying. He feels worthless, ashamed that his wife might be watching him from the afterlife. When he sees Seijiro, he almost loses his mind. To Genzo, Seijiro is the living face of the system, the man who upholds the very order that destroyed him. One day, Genzo sees Seijiro and his daughter. Seijiro walking down the path, his young daughter by his side.
Papa.
The girl stops to pick up a
you.
small pine cone. She hands it to her father and says, "Take this. It's good luck charm so you never get hurt while you run." Genzo freezes. Seeing that simple act of love, his own memories shatter his heart. Is his daughter safe? Is she hungry? Is she even alive? He can't hold back the tears anymore. He turns and flees into the shadows, desperate for the numbness of sake to drown out the pain. Late one night, Seijiro is jolted awake by a loud pounding at his door. He hurries to open it. It's a familiar face from Toyaba, the local postal hub. "You have a delivery," the man says. "Sign for it and go." Seijiro quickly puts on his waraji straw sandals. He reaches for the small pine cone his daughter gave him, tucking it safely into his waistband for luck, and takes off. The night air is cool and refreshing. He feels strong. He had 6 hours of sleep, enough to run at full speed. But tonight, the world is pitch black. There's no moon and the streets are empty. He enters the mountain path, guiding himself by the faint shadows of the trees. He knows every inch of this trail. He runs fast, the cool summer air rushing against his skin. He reaches the peak and begins the descent. The slope pulls him forward, making him run faster, almost as if he is flying. Suddenly, he hears a loud crack beneath his feet. Before he can react, the ground gives way and he is tumbling down the dark hillside. Even in the chaos, his instinct is to protect the mail. He throws the delivery stick away from his body so it won't be crushed as he falls. Finally, he stops. His head is spinning. Then a sharp pain shoots through his right leg. He gasps, struggling to breathe. In the dim light, he sees his leg at a terrible angle. His shin bone is snapped. The bottom of his leg is barely hanging on. The first thing he thinks of is the mail. He begins to crawl, dragging his broken leg through the dirt to find the box. It feels like an endless crawl, but he finally finds it. Nearby, he sees the cause of his fall, several massive rocks that had tumbled down from the cliffs above. But Seijiro is not alone. Watching from the bushes nearby is Genzo. He had chosen to sleep 3 kilometers up the mountain to avoid the judgment of people in town. He was half asleep when he heard the crash. When he sees the man crawling in the dirt, he realizes it is a government messenger. Rage flares up in his chest, a perfect act of revenge against the Shogun. If he kills this man, it will be a small victory for his own broken life. It will look like an accident. No one would ever know. Genzo stands up and quickly picks up a heavy rock. He creeps toward the injured man. Seijiro has his back turned, struggling to reach the box. Genzo is close enough to strike. He raises the heavy rock, ready to end it. Then he sees it. Attached to the messenger's waist is a small, simple pine cone. The image of his own daughter flashes in Genzo's mind. The memory of a sweet voice saying, "Take this, it's a good luck charm, so you'll never get hurt." Genzo freezes. The strength drains from his arm and the rock falls from his hand with a heavy thud. Seijiro turns and sees this man behind him. He realizes instantly that this stranger had been ready to kill him, but for some reason, he stopped. Without a word, Genzo steps forward. "Get on my back, I'll take you to the Toyaba." Genzo helps Seijiro up. He carries him down the mountain in total silence. There are no apologies, and there's no thank you. When they reach the Toyaba, Genzo drops Seijiro off right in front of the door. He doesn't look back. As he walks away, he realizes that for the first time in years, the weight on his own back feels a little lighter. He didn't save a representative of the Shogun. He simply carried a fellow human being, a father, and a husband just like him. As he fades into the shadows, he hears the postmaster rush out of the toyaba. The man doesn't even check on Seijiro's broken leg. He only grabs the mail and screams at him for being late. Genzo stops and listens. In that moment, he feels a cold, sharp clarity. The system doesn't care about their humanity. It only cares about the paper in the box. But this night changes something in Genzo. He thinks, I may be a worthless man, but I can still do something for someone. His mind turns to his daughter. He doesn't expect her to forgive him. He knows he doesn't deserve it. But he can help her from the shadows. He decides he will save every coin he earns. He will send it all to her. It is the very least he can do. If he dedicates the rest of his life to that one goal, maybe he can feel a little less ashamed of himself. And perhaps when the time finally comes, the Buddhas will allow him to meet his wife again just to say he's sorry for everything. While the story of Seijiro and Genzo is a work of fiction, the world they lived in was very real. The roles they played were the reality of Edo-period. The Tsugi-hikyaku were the government's elite runners bound by strict unforgiving requirements. The Kumosuke, the cloud spiders, were the lowest rung of society, often shunned and mistreated. The struggle of these men were also real. There were those who found pride and identity in serving the shogunate, and there were millions of others, farmers, merchants, and laborers who felt nothing but the crushing weight of a system that viewed them as replaceable parts. The next time you walk the Nakasendo, remember these two sides of history: the pride of those who served the system and the pain of those who survived it. The story of Japan is found in both. Thank you for watching, and if you found this story useful, please like and subscribe to my channel. By the way, I made a whole video about the history of Nakasendo. I hope you can watch that one too. Bye for now!